Wes Welker, Edelman, all the same.
They're all the same.
All the same player.
All the same. We're actually live. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
You don't have to click record, right?
What's that?
You don't have to click record anymore, right? Because we're doing it this different way?
Yeah, we're doing this a different way. So welcome back to the Backups cast. We are back. The boys are back in town. And by town, I mean two different towns on separate sides of the United States. But we're still running it strong over the internet. Shout out to Skype and shout out to YouTube Live. So before in last year's NFL season, we had a really rigorous and strict schedule that we were sticking to week on the NFL. And we kind of figured out the more laid back we became and just like sitting and shooting the shit about football, the more fun the podcast was. So new idea. We're going to stream it live on YouTube. You guys can tune in and see the whole shebang whenever we record. And then I'll upload it on our podcast network. So, Hunter, how you feeling, buddy?
Bro, I'm pretty good. You know, I'm a little drunk, not going to lie to you. Moved into my new apartment not too long ago.
Hell yeah.
It's kind of weird, you know. Best friend moved across the country to Arizona, but, you know, it is what it is. And but we're here to talk about football.
Yes,
not
sir.
our personal feelings and emotions. Because
I mean, you can talk about
right
that.
now.
Look, the backups are just two guys that like to talk. So if you want to talk about,
we'll talk about whatever. But now is not the time for that.
Now is not the time. What is it the time for?
Maybe we'll have an episode dedicated to our emotional health. Maybe.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. We could do that.
Not right now, but like we might
at a time.
Future, you know?
But what are we here to talk about then, Hunter?
We're here to talk about fucking football season, bro.
Facts.
It's about to kick off. Last night was the Hall of Fame game, or at least time of recording was the Hall of Fame game. My God, that was the worst game of football I've ever seen in my life. But was I happy it was back? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad it's back. We've been missing it over the summer. I've had nothing to tweet about. And the draft can only last so long. So I'm pumped it's back. Even if it was preseason, the Hall of Fame game with nothing going on.
Like maybe 3 starters in the entire game.
Yeah. I mean, it's Haskins and Rudolph and Najee Harris. I mean, Najee Harris got in there.
Mason Rudolph
didn't look any good.
One of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, Mason Rudolph continues to be paid year after year to pretty much not do anything. So I don't know. I mean, let the man make his money, you know.
I kind of figured, after they signed Haskins, that was going to be the end of Mason Rudolph, but he was starting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Haskins really doesn't have it together. I don't know. I mean, maybe, it's preseason. Maybe they're just throwing him out there, see what happens. But, I mean, he is, 300 years old? No, he's 26. But still. He's 26, but I
feel like he's been in the league forever, though.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's getting paid $5 million.
Mason Rudolph?
Yeah, a one year $5 million contract for this year.
Why are you paying Mason Rudolph that much?
I don't know. I guess they like him. I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you why, but. That team's headed downhill soon, though. Don't you think?
Oh, dude, I think the Steelers, I think this is their last shot of really, any chance of sniffing a title. But I think they've already missed their window. I think they're trying to hold on to something that's not there. Yeah. I don't think there's any way they can compete with the Ravens or the Chiefs. Hell, at this point, might not even be able to compete with the Browns or the Bills.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think that they finish lower than the Browns this year, easily.
I think they're best case scenario, the 6th best team in the AFC.
Yeah, they could. I think that they can make I think that they can make the playoffs as a wild card. I think we might have 3 AFC North playoff teams, and they're like
Again.
lower down. Yeah, again. And they're the lower down one this time. I don't know though. I mean, it just feels like a team that should have gone into rebuild mode a couple of years ago.
They
And
definitely should have started this past season, and they just did not.
Yeah, I mean the heyday's over. You know, I mean there was that group with Big Ben that was like Bettis, Hines Ward, Palomalu, and not to mention the fact that their line is pretty much gone now.
They completely rebuilt the offensive line, which I think is good. I think they needed to do that.
Just means that there's going to be a learning curve, though, you know, because he's been sitting with the same guys for quite a few years, and so I don't know. I just think it's going to be a challenging season to say the least from Pittsburgh. I'm sorry to say that, Matt Watkins, because I know Matt Watkins, one of our most faithful listeners, is here right now. But
he's here right now?
Not in the live, but maybe in the future.
Oh,
maybe in the future,
probably.
Yeah. But anyways, I just think it's gonna be a disappointing season, and I don't know what the talk around Pittsburgh's organization or even Pittsburgh Steelers fans is, but I hope their expectations are low. So
if I was a Steelers fan, I would expect probably like a 7 to 9 win season, maybe 10 wins on the 17 game schedule.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I was thinking 9 and 8.
Yeah, I can't go in expecting whatever they had last season. The fact they made it to, was it 12-0 or whatever?
Yeah, and then they fell apart. We had a whole episode dedicated to it.
We did.
AFC North State of Emergency.
The fact they made it that far and then fell apart, kind of simple. Like it kind of showed to me like this team is not who they thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
And could I be wrong? Like could we be wrong on these Steelers? Yes.
Yeah.
Like, could the defense carry them to a title? Very much so. Like, their defense is elite.
Yeah.
But I think the offense is handicapped by a lot of issues that they're just not addressing and have not chosen to address.
Completely agree. I saw James Washington requested a trade today as well, who's, the wide receiver 4 in Pittsburgh. But, just another part of that offense that's going away.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's buried in their depth chart and all, but, like, that was kind of a prime example of what's wrong with this team. Is like, they have too much talent at certain positions, like the receiver position. Like, you spend a second round pick on James Robinson, he's buried in that depth chart. And he's not bad. He's not bad by any means.
No, I mean I think he's a wide receiver 2 as of right now. But when you have Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, I mean, and he last year he didn't even get a chance to produce because he's just not getting the ball. He's not getting the targets. And then they're going to draft a rookie running back that they're going to expect to produce, and I'm sure that they're going to want him to be a big part of the game, Najee Harris. And so there's just not enough room for James Washington in that team. So
and the thing is, their second round pick was Pat Freiermuth from Penn State too.
Right. So just another. And he's a backup tight end too. Didn't Ebron's still there, right?
He was hurt.
But I'm saying he's.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure Ebron went somewhere else.
I don't. Let me see.
But like, I get they're trying to rebuild right now, like on the offense. I think Najee and Pat Freiermuth and Kendrick Green, whatever his name is, the guard they took, are all very good ways to go about trying to fix some of the issues you had on offense. But I think the biggest issue is still the signal caller position. I think Ben's a safe option, but I don't think he gives you much of a ceiling.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Ebron's still in Pittsburgh too. That's
Jesus Christ.
They're paying Ebron. Their dead cap on Ebron is almost $7.5 million this year. Anyways, if they cut him, cap hit almost $5 million. Anyways, Yeah, so I think the issue is still the quarterback position. I mean, it was hard to address last year from the position that they were in the draft. And so I don't think that they should have taken a quarterback. But uh, when Big Ben gets hurt again or he decides to retire, they have no backup plan. Mason Rudolph, we were talking about before we no, it was while we were recording. Mason Rudolph is not it, and
Yeah.
as of the time of recording, Dwayne Haskins certainly isn't it.
I
So
think I think considering what they had issues with like draft position and quarterbacks available and everything, I think Haskins was the best option you had available to you. But I would not be banking on that option by any means.
right, yeah, I
But
mean,
I would still roll with Haskins before I would roll with Mason Rudolph.
agree, but I just I don't know. Maybe I'm not giving them enough credit. It just doesn't seem like that there's as much of a plan as there should be in Pittsburgh, and so that's what I'm not entirely sure about. Excuse me at this point, but moving on to a different division. Well, actually, we didn't talk about the Bengals. How do you feel about the Bengals this year?
The Bengals.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too.
I think they had a pretty solid draft. I think they fucked up by not taking Penei Sewell
Agree.
when they picked Jamar Chase. I think Chase is going to develop into a number one for them, but I think Penei Sewell is what they needed right now. I forgot who it was that linked the report from training camp, but the thing with Joe Burrow kind of like being really hesitant with getting touched or even like feeling pressure because of his knee, that's concerning.
Well,
And
yeah, I mean,
if I'm the GM or Zach Taylor, I'd be sitting here staring at that saying, fuck, we fucked this up again.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, I wouldn't expect Burrow to be ready yet. I'm not expecting him to come out and be ready to go this soon. Even, I mean, he's still recovering. But if the issue was the offensive line, and you didn't put young talent on your offensive line, then you're going to be in trouble. And no matter
Right.
how good that wide receiver core is, and Joe Mixon is good, but he's injury prone, and so you don't have much to take the pressure off of Burrow. No run game.
I mean, he drives a Jackson Carman, but
yeah, as a guard maybe.
I had like a 6th-round grade on Jackson Carman.
Yeah, I mean, I just I am not quite sure what we're going to see out of the Bengals. Is it possible they pick top 5 again? I think so.
I think so too, and I'll be honest, I can comfortably say right now, sadly, like working at camp over the summer, I did not get a chance to do as much, summer scouting stuff as I'd like to.
Sure.
But I don't know if there's a tackle that I'd like there as much as Rashawn Slater or Penei Sewell, at least at this point in time, from what
Yeah. I mean, I know there's a couple that are, that have caught everybody's eye. Evan Neal out of Alabama, and then there's kind of a little bit of a drop off. But I think there's definitely some guys who we could see come up this season, just like there is every season. I'm just not, for this season, for this NFL season, I don't know if Jamar Chase was the right option, but we'll see. I mean, that trio of receivers in Cincinnati's young and lethal. I think that there's something to look forward to there, and maybe we'll see something good out of the Jamar Chase T Higgins kind of connection. But
yeah. Also, it blows my mind that people are putting the Bengals as like a top 3 receiver trio right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. I saw that on Twitter the other day, and I was thinking about like Tampa, Dallas, Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
I was like, I don't know, because there's several wide receiver trios that I can think of, like the Titans, AJ Brown, Julio Jones, and anybody. It doesn't matter who.
It's Josh Reynolds, who's a pretty solid receiver.
Yeah, but even then, like AJ Brown.
You put one of us at receiver. It's
what I'm saying, that's exactly what I was gonna say. AJ Brown, Julio Jones, and Hunter Thompson. It doesn't matter. They're better than and like I mean, especially I don't know. I saw somebody with some blasphemy talking about like what wide receiver trio you want over these three, talking about the Bengals, and I was thinking like Dallas has Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup.
Well, Tampa has Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, and Mike Evans.
Yeah, I mean even the Rams, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Van Jefferson.
That's a solid trio.
Right, what I'm saying. I mean, none of them. I wouldn't say any of them are superstars. The three of them, but they're all like that's a better wide receiver trio than the Bengals. So, I don't know, but it's still an exciting young team. I mean, Burrow, Higgins.
There's a lot of good with the Bengals.
Jamar Chase, yeah. We just they gotta keep on coming up. I mean, I would say it's still a rebuild year.
Yeah, Zach Taylor is not the guy, though. I'm going to say that now. Zach Taylor is not the guy.
You think he's done after this year?
I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like they kind of has to, like, entertain. Like, I feel like he has to be on the hot seat.
Yeah.
The Bengals aren't good, and they haven't really been that good.
Not for a while.
They haven't really ever been competitive under him. So.
No. And, like, because it's easy to say, too, like, okay, they just drafted their franchise quarterback. They're building the offense. This is still rebuild, but like, how long are we gonna let him be bad before they hire Joe Brady? You know, because that's gonna happen. Because like they're building that on purpose.
I think Zach Taylor's literally just holding the seat until they decide to hire Joe Brady.
I'm serious. They drafted
Jamar Chase. I didn't thought about that until you just said it.
He's a young offensive mind. He was already getting head coaching talk last year. He needs another year.
It's his quarterback and receiver that made him like really pop.
Yep, and he's gonna make, and we'll transition to NFC South with this, but he's gonna make Sam Darnold look a hell of a lot better than the Jets did, and people are gonna be like, wow. Joe Brady is a genius.
Sam Darnold. That hurts.
They're going to be like, Joe Brady's a genius. He can do anything.
I'm about to watch that man torch us twice a year in Atlanta.
Yeah, Sam Darnold.
I'm not ready to see that. Sam Darnold's going to look good this year.
Yeah, he is. I mean, that's another like young offensive team where you're like, wait a second, this is actually kind of nasty. DJ Moore, Robbie. Yeah. I mean, Christian McCaffrey. And so you look at it for a second, you're like, dang it. Like, they actually took a bunch of, like, random guys and Christian McCaffrey and made it into something crazy. So, and that defense isn't going to be bad either. They picked J.C. Horn in the first round. Your boy.
I fucking love J.C. Horn. That one.
I mean,
the Panthers have done this the past 2 years in a row. They keep fucking taking players that I love.
Yep.
And I have to watch us play them twice a year for the next 10 years.
Yep. And yeah, it's good ass players too. I like Brian Burns too. It's okay.
Brian Burns, Yetur Gross-Matos, Derek Brown, fucking J.C. Horn.
Yep.
Fucking Terrace Marshall.
Yeah, I mean they took everybody. So it's
they like literally took all these players that I love, and they just Hunter, watch them torch your team for the next 2 years. Twice a year for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks, God.
You think the Falcons finish last again this year in the division?
I don't see how they fucking don't.
Yeah, I don't know how I mean, they're the only team that I would say didn't. They improved, but not really.
Like, I can sit here and be like the optimistic Falcons fan and say we win 7 to 9 games because I think that's a possibility. Not a high possibility, but I think it's a possibility. But yeah. I think realistically we're in the 5 to 7 win range, and we'll probably be picking top 10 again, which is fine. Like,
well, so they go quarterback, right? If you're picking top 10,
I would assume so, but like, fuck if I know anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the moves they made this season. I don't love the Kyle Pitts pick, but when you offloaded Julio, it kind of offset that. It's like, okay, whatever. I have to live with this pick. I would have preferred Justin Fields there or even fucking Rashawn Slater. But like the moves they made this season were good. It's just not the way I would have went about it. But I think a lot of the moves they made are good for the longevity of the team. It's just nothing flashy or short term fixes.
Yeah, but like even I mean, if you pick a quarterback, that's staying in for the long term, right? So
Right.
I don't know. I feel like Kyle Pitts, kind of might have been a short term fix because they knew they were going to offload Julio Jones.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like where it gets like fishy. Is like, did they know they were going to offload Julio at the time?
I think they did.
I think they did too, but I think they were banking on Trey Lance being there or hoping Trey Lance was there before.
Yeah,
draft. I think that's why they weren't going to trade. I think that's why they waited to trade Julio until after the draft.
Yeah, because they were going to see who dropped to him.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm looking at the Falcons' schedule now.
It's not fun.
No.
It's not fun.
Yeah, it's not. See, that's preseason. Then they start against the Eagles, who that's a whole other can of worms. We'll open in a minute. The Giants, Washington, the Jets, but then yeah, they've got some. I mean, the Bucks, the Saints, the Cowboys, the Patriots, who I think are kind of a sleeper this year. They've got the Jags and they got, Panthers, 49ers, Lions, Bills. Yeah, so I don't.
It's not a fun schedule, like at all.
No, and yeah, I don't see them winning that many games. I mean, I think maybe they could win 5 or 6 games is what I think. I mean, they'll probably end up.
I think 8 wins is our absolute like max capacity, like 8 wins tops.
Yeah,
but I don't expect that at all. So
if they win all the games that they should win, which you can never count on that with the Falcons, but
you can't count on that in the NFL. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but with the Falcons, I mean, you look at last year.
Oh no, Atlanta in general makes it worse.
Yeah, if they win all the games they should win, yeah, it'll be 7 or 8. But maybe it'll be better if they pick top 10 again. Maybe that'll be a better thing. They can. It's a arguably deeper quarterback class, not as top heavy, but deeper and more balanced. So you can look at a guy like Corral or Jerkovic. Is that his name? Boston College.
Yeah, the one from BC.
Yeah, Howell, Jerkovic, Corral. I mean,
Carson Strong is my boy. I'm saying this now. I'm saying this now. Carson Strong is my QB1 going into next season. Fucking love that man.
Carson Strong is nice.
Just know you inspired me to be on the Carson Strong train. But that's my QB1 going into next season.
Carson Strong is nice, and I'd be in on that. I saw I don't know if it was you, I don't know who it was, but in the ATB mock, Falcons took Carson Strong, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was not me. I'm not a part of the ATB scouting team.
Okay. But if you don't know what ATB is, you're listening to the podcast. Around the Block is a site, podcast network, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They do a lot of things, and we're on it. So if
we are on it,
yeah, and so if you like our content, you like what we do, I would go check out Around the Block. Media conglomerate, to be honest. I mean, it's not just sports. It's they're talking about music on there. They're shooting the shit, honestly. So
it's such a good time. They have probably a topic for everybody on there.
Yeah.
Your favorite team is covered in some capacity.
Your favorite team, it doesn't matter what sport it is, your favorite team is covered. Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous how many ATB accounts there are. Yeah. Exactly. ATB Detroit crazy. Tigers. But anyways, no matter what sport you like, if it's football, if it's baseball, if it's hockey, basketball, it's covered somewhere on the ATB network. So but anyways, I would like there's a couple more divisions I want to hit, and then I want to talk about so you can have this in mind. If you have some underachievers and some overachievers this season, so who's gonna exceed expectations, who's gonna underperform? Just like 2 of each is what I'm thinking. I do want to talk about, though, the NFC East and the AFC East, because those are 2 divisions that intrigue me this season. All the other divisions intrigue me, honestly, too. But we don't have time to hit every division all the time. The NFC East was wide open last year. After the Dak injury, it was down to literally the wire. It was the last game of the season, and the Eagles screwed that up. So, Eagles, Cowboys, Giants football team, still yet to be named. DCFC is what I like to call them. How do you think that those teams landed this year, given their drafts and given what's to come?
Sorry, repeat the question. You cut out for a second.
NFC East, like, where do you think those teams land this year in terms of like wins or like standings in the division?
Yeah, I think Dallas has to be the immediate favorites to win the division, them or Washington. I think it has to be between those 2. I don't think anybody else, like, I don't think Giants have a shot, and I know Philly doesn't have a shot. I think the Giants are going to look better, but I don't think they are like competitive enough right now to really hang with, especially with all this weird shit going on with them. They've had like 3 or 4 players retire in this past week. Like,
it's because of Judge.
Now we're done.
It's because of Judge. Like, apparently, Judge is super hardcore and not fun to play for.
I guess so, but like, it's just it's crazy. It really is.
I
think it has to be between Dallas and Washington, and I think Washington's all truly dependent on Fitzmagic.
Yeah, I am not mad at all at them starting Fitzmagic this year. I like that. I think it's still a good placeholder. Last year we talked about for the Steelers as well. It just wasn't a good spot to take a quarterback. You would have had to trade up picks and picks and picks and picks to get up there for one of those quarterbacks. And so as a placeholder, Fitzmagic, I think is going to work really well in that offense. That being said, I don't know if they're a contender against a healthy Dak. Dak was on pace to throw for 5,000 yards last year.
Exactly.
And now he has 17 games, so he's going to throw for even more. It's I think that's a loaded offense. Zeke, I think, is going to come back looking better because Dak is back. So I think it's probably Dallas's division. Although I am kind of a little Washington fanboy. I like it. I like what they got going on in there.
I kind of like rooting for them. They're kind of fun.
Yeah, like if I had to pick a secondary team, then I'd probably pick Washington. Washington, nice. I forgot. I was looking at the draft order because I forgot who they picked last year. I forgot Washington picked Jamin Davis.
Yeah.
I forget these kind of things when we don't record for a couple months.
Dude, we haven't recorded since the draft.
Yeah, I know.
The last thing we did was the live stream of the draft.
We did the live stream of the draft and we said we're good now. We don't need anything else. But
we got way too busy way too quickly.
Yeah, it's summer jobs.
You have a real job.
I do have a real job teaching, and I wanted to wait till we were recording to announce this. But you can call me Coach Cato because I'm gonna be helping out coaching varsity football this year. Special teams coordinator for varsity football. Come on, dude. You know who else started as a special teams coordinator?
Is it JV or varsity?
It's varsity. We only have varsity. It's a small school, but yeah.
Yo, Coach Cato.
Yeah. So.
Yo. Okay.
And we know Coach Belichick started out as a special teams coordinator. So maybe I'm on the rise. Maybe you'll catch me in the NFL.
Dude, if you don't change your like Twitter name or some shit to like Coach Cato, I'm gonna be so upset.
Lammers would be all up in my grill if I changed. He would be like, oh, like he would be talking to me all the time, be all crazy about it. He'd be so excited.
I mean, Zach Garrison changed his to what is his? His is Zach in parentheses at JV Coach Garrison. So like,
hey, I mean, I just gotta get Lammers in there next, and then it'll be Arizona boys coaching it up. We got to get you out to one of the football games.
Bro, send me your schedule. I will be out there in a heartbeat.
We'll get there. But it's gonna be something. So, anyways, I thought that would be fun to put up on the podcast. Yeah, it's ridiculous because like I'm like 22 years old, and so I'm working with people who could be my father or my mother, you know? My coworkers are twice my age. And so like these kids, I mean, the seniors are as big as I am. They're 4 years younger than me. So like I mean it's ridiculous, but it's going to be wild. It's going to be
I think you're gonna have so much fun with it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. But I'll come on the podcast in all my gear, getting ready to go. My hat, my windbreaker. Maybe I'll get a hoodie. Who knows,
bro? If you're not down the sideline in like a polo.
Yeah, I have a polo. It might be in the wash right now, but yeah, I got a polo that says, because we're the Western Warriors, and it says Vamos Warriors on it. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's so hype.
So, anyways, speaking of special teams, the Giants, I think that they're screwed this year. They traded down, they picked up a lot of capital. And I think that indicates that they know. What?
What do you mean? Wait. Oh.
Joe Judge?
The Giants. Dumb.
Yeah. Speaking of the Giants, Joe Judge, the Giants, they traded. All right, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, we lost it there for a second. I'll have to edit that up in the podcast. But I think what we were talking about was Joe Judge. My computer overheated.
We're talking about Giants. We're talking about special team.
Yeah, there we go.
Special problem.
So, but anyways, the Giants. Yeah, I think it's a down year. I mean, the defense looked good by the end of the season, but I'm pretty sure Daniel Jones isn't it. So they're going to give him the weapons this year. Saquon's going to be healthy. Kadarius Toney is there. They got Kenny Galladay, and if he doesn't produce this year, I mean it's rebuild. We're back to finding a quarterback.
Like I legitimately think they're a quarterback away, but
yeah, at this point, I mean with the weapons they have, the defense looks good. The line isn't so bad. Once Andrew Thomas starts to develop, I mean it's I think just Daniel Jones. It's about the end for him. In terms of starting, I mean he can go somewhere else, right. be a backup, whatever. But
he'll be a Trubisky. He'll go somewhere as a backup.
Yeah, and now Trubisky plays for my Bills, so there we go.
Behind the $250 million man.
Yes, the recently signed contract of Josh Allen, to play for 6 years. A good looking contract. He set the market. So, Lamar and trying to think of who else will be signed soon. Baker are going to be looking at that.
I think the Raiders kind of played themselves.
Yeah, they should
not signing him sooner.
Completely agree.
Because when the Dak contract went out and the Deshaun Watson contract went out, everyone was already worried about what the Lamar